What's up, guys? I'm Brandon and this is Partly Built, and today we're working on this guy, a chainsaw. I bought this baby. It's a CS310 Echo for 50 bucks. Came with the manual that we'll never read and came with the new chain. So let's see what we can do. All right, now we have our chainsaw on our workbench, and the chain tightness, it's pretty tight. It's pretty good, really. But I just anticipate it's filthy. And bar chain oil is usually dried out when it sits too long, because it just, leaks. Because that's literally what it's designed to do. And it is dry over here, so we have to refill it. But first, I'm gonna take off this cover and I'm gonna access the chain, the bar, and just make sure it's pretty darn clean in there. And then next, we're gonna pop open this. Pop open both sides. And you have access to the air filter and spark plug. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. All right, I'm going to hit that with the air compressor and I'll be back. But before we go, this is a carburetor. I know this chainsaw has been sitting for a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that off while I'm here. So, these take torque bits. Of course, I don't have those on me right now, so I gotta go get them. In the meantime, I'm gonna take the bar off. I already figured out what socket it is. Yeah, just as I thought. This is pretty darn filthy, pretty caked up. So all I'm gonna do is kind of clear this out, throw it away. I actually shouldn't need to take the bar off, but I'll clean it up and then put it back on. But before I go, this is the bar tensioner, or the chain tensioners, my bad. So as it sits right there, you can take a flathead screwdriver and move this in either direction, and then that is just moving this bit here. Not sure how well you guys can see that, but it's moving this forward or back. And that piece goes inside this hole on the bar here. So it is literally moving the bar forward or backwards, which is causing the tightness of the chain. So if you ever need to change your chain, that is how you do it. All right, I'm gonna go clean this stuff up and I'll be back with this bit here. Alright, I'm back. So I took off the 3 screws right here. They're still in, they're just completely unscrewed. I took the bar off and did a little cleaning. I think it looks alright. Bar looks good. I consider a bad bar just really chewed up. And by chewed up, I mean any metal that's taken off. Paint worn down is completely fine. I consider that completely normal. But if you're getting pits and valleys on the edge here where it's holding the chain, or any deformation, I would consider that to be a bad bar and you would need to replace it. And then the chain, it's pretty sharp. You can manually sharpen these if you need, but more often than not, it's just worth buying a new chain. But this one feels honestly still really good in my opinion. So I'm going to re-put that one on this bar. And here is the bar tensioner and cover. I think it looks much better. So let's go ahead, take these screws out. Oh, it's gonna fight me. There it goes. Alright, and this should just slide right off. I'm going to take the fuel lines off and then disconnect the choke and throttle cables, and then I'll meet you back at the workbench. Alright, and we're back at the workbench. So I went ahead and blew out the air filter. It's really not that bad, so I think it's reusable. And here we got our carburetor. So let's go ahead and start taking it apart. Start here. Oh yeah. Let's see some debris inside there by the screen. That'll absolutely stop it from working. And then let's take this other piece off. Just be really careful when you're taking this part off. Alright. Looking good. And just for reference, these two orange screws adjust your high and low RPM. This over here is your idle screw, but yeah, this is your like high and low RPM. So this must be the float. There's that screen. That one I definitely wanted to get out. Alright. There we go. I'm gonna see how it does with just that quick clean. So whoops. Nice. Yeah, so this one's your idle screw. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Alright, now we're going to go back to the chainsaw and put all this back on. Alright, we're back at the chainsaw, and let's go ahead and start putting this back together. Now, if I remember correctly, it was oriented like this. I think that makes sense. So, looks like this goes like this. That goes like that. This goes right here. And this one goes down here. Okay, after a couple minutes of struggling to get all this on, I think I had this backwards, but I got it on now. And always start your screws by hand because you don't want to strip them. So let's get the air filter on. And put that up. And I'm not going to check the spark plug. The spark plug's right here. It looked pretty decent from the outside, and usually they're always pretty good. But I'm going to risk it for the biscuit, you know? Live life on the edge. Put this back on. Make sure that's on because we're going to try to start it here soon. Let's get this chain on the bar. All right. So just got done putting it all together. Make sure that these are pretty darn loosened for when you tension the chain. Tensioning the chain literally moves the bar to the right away from the clutch. So you want this to be loose so that way it can move the bar. So we're gonna go ahead and run it and see what it does. Now that we got our chainsaw all ready to go, let's go ahead and start it. First things first, make sure the brake is engaged. The brake basically stops the chain from moving around the bar. Let's get our choke, prime it. Again, make sure our toggle switch is on the on position. Let's give it a shot. Oh wow, nice. All right, let's put in the choke. It is a hot day. Okay, kind of choked itself out a little bit. Nice. There you have it. More than likely, I have to adjust the carburetor, high RPM and low RPM kind of deal, to really get her nice, but I count today as a win. And as always, if you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep these videos coming. Thank you very much for watching.